We'll go to the Mayor's Safety Director report. Mayor Porto.
Thank you, Council President. I wanted to follow up on a couple things. One is the Do Not Knock registry. Just a couple of housekeeping items with the administration. In a previous report to Council, I had mentioned that the Administrative Assistant Jody Booker had moved the Do Not Knock registry from the Vermilion Police Department dispatchers to City Hall Administration, and she handles it under her job title. This is with the approval of Chief Hartung. The purpose was to relieve the dispatchers of a clerical chore and allow them to focus more on the important job of responding to 911 calls. Ms. Booker established a system where those who do not want solicitors to knock can get the application process totally online instead of coming to the VPD or to City Hall. Through newsletters and website information, more Vermilion households have been made aware of the registry. And since being moved to the City Hall online, the Do Not Knock registry has grown from 21 in February to 544 city households requesting privacy. That's as of today. Additionally, solicitors can now apply for permits online. Ms. Booker sends the applications to the VPD for background checks on those solicitors and then issues the approved permits. A list of approved solicitors is also on the city website. Solicitors are given text updates of who is on the Do Not Knock list and expected to respect that. With spring here, the solicitors are out in force. And this streamlined system may help those who do not welcome solicitors. And the dispatchers can now do their job with a little less distraction. I also want to mention the Shred Day, of which I have a lot to be shredded at home, is May 10, thanks to the Lorain County Solid Waste Management and Lorain County Commissioners. It is from 9:30 to 12 noon at the E&R Church parking lot. Some volunteers and a few people from City Hall, including yours truly, will be there to help transfer your shreddables from your vehicle to the truck. Please enter on Ohio Street. Keep the traffic flow the way it's supposed to be. And lastly, a CHIP grant. I encourage Council to pass Resolution 2025-R-5. This is a CHIP grant that could provide big benefits to some people in our community who really need help with their properties. And that concludes my report, Council President.
Mr. Mayor, is it your request that we pass that on first reading tonight? CHIP grant resolution?
It doesn't need to be, actually, but when it comes around, I hope it is passed.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for the mayor tonight? All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'll go to Service Director's report. Mr. Valerius.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to mention to citizens on the west side of the river that the distribution department will begin flushing hydrants in the next couple of weeks. Please be aware that at times you may experience low water pressure or a slight discoloration. If so, we ask that you run the water until it clears before drinking or doing laundry. Flushing will continue into May. I'm happy to report that after nearly 2 years, the new international plow truck arrived at the shop last week, which allows us to retire our oldest truck, a 2002, which leads me to my next discussion. On the agenda tonight, our ordinance is 2025-25 through 28. These ordinances pertain to the requested new trucks for the street department, a new plow truck, and the distribution department, a new dump truck. I recently spoke with the salesman from Rush Truck, who provides the chassis, and he stated that currently a chassis averages 4 to 5 months to be made. But the Henderson rep told us to expect a year for outfitting the snow and ice package to the plow truck. Also, Rush Truck recently added a $3,900 tariff surcharge to both chassis, and he said that additional tariff charges may be coming in the future. With that said, I've asked Council to consider suspending the rules and passing ordinances 2025-25 through 28 by emergency so that we not only receive the trucks sooner, but also avoid the possibility of additional tariff charges that may be added. Lastly, as a side note to follow up my response to the audience from March regarding the purchase of road salt, last Thursday afternoon, after the agenda had already been finalized, I received the anticipated email from the Ohio Department of Transportation requesting participation in the 2025-26 road salt contract. The city has until May 2nd at 5 o'clock to upload a copy of the approved resolution. As such, next week, I will be asking council for passage of the resolution by emergency in order to meet the deadline set by ODOT. And that concludes my report.
Okay. So that resolution will be on next week?
Yeah, because it came after we talked about it.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Belair?
The distribution truck that you're wanting to retire, what year is it?
It's 27 years old. So it's a 97, maybe? Or, no.
It'd be 98.
98.
All right. No questions or comments? Thank you. We'll go to Finance Director's report. Ms. Hendricks.
Thank you, Council President. We do have an additional reading for appropriation updates. Those were sent out last week for council to review. As an update on the audit, yes, the audit staff was here on March 10th. No findings or recommendations thus far. The way that process works, it will be after our financial statements are issued and converted through GAAP. That's the final part of the audit after they do the compliance, is to review those statements for accuracy. So we'll probably see a report June, July-ish. It's a normal time frame for that. And the tax budget was sent out on the 31st to council with the associated exhibits. The tax budget does reflect the transfer of $2 million from the general fund as recommended by the administration for 2025 to streets and other projects. And a public hearing is scheduled for May 5th. And the notice has been placed in the photojournal, lost my train of thought.
If
I think of it?
That it's going to be on committee next week.
Yes, thank you.
I'm in your brain right now. For a minute.
Ooh, scary spot.
That concludes your report?
Yes, I'm
Very well.
sorry.
No problem. Any questions or comments from members of council? Thank you. City Engineer's report. Mr. Howard.
Thank you, Council President. Construction update on the VOL projects. The contractor is currently working on Essex and Parkland. All laterals to the west of Essex are complete. Safe Routes to School project, phase 2, the contractor ahead of schedule. They're hoping by the end of this week, weather permitting, to be done with the sidewalk work. Then they'll come back and start placing topsoil and seeding and striping. On March 13th, the city had a bid opening for the Sunnyside Road Phase 3 project. 2 bids were received. Buckeye Excavating and Construction, Inc. of Norwalk was the low bidder with a bid of $1,352,478. The estimate was $1,656,208.60. I ask that council consider passing ordinance 2025-20 by emergency tonight. Once council authorizes the contract, we need to send the award package to ODOT for final authorization. Once ODOT receives the award package, it takes approximately 2 to 3 weeks to receive federal authorization. So the contract starts construction. At next week's council meeting, we'll have the proposal from Katie McCartney for the construction administration and construction inspection services for Sunnyside Road Phase 3. We'll be asking for emergency passage also regarding their contract. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from members of council? I guess I'm wondering if, we're talking 1.3 million. If council did not pass it by emergency, it would have presumably be heard. The third reading would be the first meeting of May. But you're kind of looking at this from a perspective. I'm understanding that's about a 3.5 week delay on work done for a project for this year. Is that
Well, you're probably, you're at least pushing it out 2 months, because the contractor can't start until federal authorization is received.
Okay.
And that takes, like I said, 2 to 3 weeks once ODOT gets it and sends it to the feds for approval. So
Okay.
it just delays the project.
All right. Any other questions or comments? All right. Thank you. We'll go to our law director's report.
There's no law director's report this evening.
Very well. I have a question, and if you want to defer it to Ms. Anderson, that's fine. Are you aware of any liability that a city council member, any municipal council member, or township trustee would have regarding the notices for request for records and inspection of records, a lawsuit that would be filed against the actual members of council? Are you aware of any liability that those members would have?
Mr. President, I'm going to defer
Okay.
to Ms.
I
Anderson.
would appreciate that.
She has this matter well under control.
Okay, I will speak to her. All right, thank you.